So chapter 18 is going to be all about circuits, and so we're going to basically jump right into circuits. And so we're going to have basically the same elements that we had at the end of the previous chapter. We're going to have a voltage source, and we're going to have some resistance, and we're going to have some current, and we're going to have some power. So our voltage source is going to be V measured in volts. Our resistance is going to be R, and that's also V. Our current is going to be I, and that's going to be measured in amps. And our power is going to be P, and it's going to be measured in watts. So our big equations are going to be basically V equals IR and P equals IV. And we can sort of derive a whole bunch of other equations from that, but we're basically just going to, every other equation is just kind of some manipulation of these two, more or less. Okay, so first off, voltage source. Well, here's our voltage source right here. So it is called a battery. And so let me just sort of grab another sheet of paper here, and we'll sort of diagram around it. So we have a battery. And there's other ways that we could have a voltage source, but this is a very, very easy one. And so I'm going to take my little multimeter here, and I got to identify the negative side. This is my negative side, so black goes with my negative side, red goes with my positive side, and I have my little multimeter here on DC, on volts DC, and so I'm going to plug like that, and it's going to say 1.522. So my battery is going to be 1.522 volts, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of hook them together like a train, and so I'm going to have 1.5 volts in this one pushing 1.5 volts in that one, and so overall I'm going to end up with, well, let me pull that in so you guys can see it as well. 3.058 volts. Now, so that's our voltage source, and then we have resistors. And there's a lot to say about resistors. There's all kinds of different types. Okay, so basically just about everything is a resistor. Your toaster is a resistor. A light bulb is a resistor. Basically anything, your computer can be thought of as a resistor. Basically anything that you plug into the wall is in some way a resistor. So resistor is a general term for anything that resists the flow of electricity. But now in terms of what we're talking about right here, we have our resistors. These are resistors, and these things have a letter code, or these things have a color code, which I think I will get into a little bit later. That's what it sort of looks like real life. And then in our circuits, we're going to call this is what a battery is going to look like in a circuit. This is what a resistor is going to look like in a circuit. Okay, and then we have, we're going to come back and talk about resistors probably in their own, very own video. Then we have wires. So we have jumper wires. That are just going to let us get the electricity from one spot to another. We've got our little socket board, breadboard. Which is going to let us hook things up, and I might come back to that at the end of this video. Actually, I think I'll talk about it right now. Okay, so basically, I'm not going to try to draw this because I got it right here. Basically, everything in this line is connected underneath. So this is one wire with 20 different ways for you to hook into that wire. This, on the other side, is another wire with 20 different ways for you to connect into that wire. So if I plug in here, and if I plug in here, then these two wires are connected underneath the back of the board here. So I've just connected these two wires conveniently in my little socket board. Now, then also, more importantly, the ones we're going to use is these 5 are connected, and then these 5 are connected differently, and then these 5 are connected differently, these 5 are connected differently. Across the little gap here, we have another 5 connected together, and another 5 connected together. So if I do this, so just so you can see, let's see. Okay, so these two are into this same line of 5, so these two are connected together. This one is on the same line as this, but this doesn't mean anything. So this one is not connected to these two. This one is on the other side of the gap, so it's not connected to these two either. So these two are the only ones that are currently connected. Okay, so this row of 5, it's 5 ways to tap into the same wire. So it allows us to basically do away with having a whole bunch of these. And finally, we have our good standard multimeter. This is a pretty nice compact one, digital multi-ranging, relatively cheap, but it's going to get the job done, and it's going to help us. Well, this actually is going to measure voltage. It's not going to measure amps. It's going to measure volt. I'm going to have to get another one that's going to let us measure current. So I'm going to come back with a different one in my next video that's going to allow us to measure current. So those are the players, and then we're going to get into resistors in the next video.